Welcome to Eat the Rich. I'm your host, Jared Holt.
Total exoneration.
No, you're actually good right now. Although there is a very strong feeling, given how you sound and what's happened in the last week, that we're talking to like Edward Snowden.
Yeah.
It's a very strong feeling that you're in a safe hotel room right now. That's just it's bugged.
I'm calling from my hotel in Moscow.
Chris is holed up in the Swedish embassy.
Chris, can you hold up today's newspaper?
Yeah. I'm not reading this statement under duress. I just want to say that Starbucks is good. I have nothing.
Chris, you're blinking quite a lot.
I have no additional. You're reading too much into it. I have no additional statement to make about them at this time, other than they're good, and you should frequent them and give them money, and you can say whatever you want, whether you're a barista or if you're speaking to the barista. You can say Merry Christmas. You can say whatever you want to say. Again, I'm not reading the statement under duress. Everything is fine. Everything's fine.
Who's that guy behind you, Chris? He looks kind of scary. Is that Howard Schultz?
Oh my God!
Man, he's revamping. He's restarting up his presidential campaign. He's tapped me to be his manager.
He needed to take you off Twitter so that you had more time to help his campaign.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing I'm off Twitter.
Yeah, that's a very like Howard Schultz vibe, where Chris, goes to the bathroom and is like, boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I tweet on the company time. And then Howard Schultz is like, no more of this.
We could have just lived quiet lives and not done any of this and not had to deal with this shit.
I could have simply just not went out of my way to antagonize people. It was like so every bit of this was avoidable.
I think a shocking thing about it is that the Randy G-Dub thing just happened a few years ago. Like, it's pretty fresh in everyone's like in the general collective memory.
Sure.
So it was a little surprising seeing Steve King take up the mantle.
Well, I don't think. I mean, I think that he is stupid and gullible enough to not recognize it as a joke, but I don't think he would care anyway.
Yeah.
Certainly, I mean, it's just bait for the people who follow him. It's just fuel for those resentments that they already believe, that war on Christmas narrative.
Yeah, and the hell dude was saying too that it's just grist for the mill, and at the end of the day, it fuels their ideology. But I do think there is a certain, like, you might win a few people over on the margins, and at the end of the day, that's the name of the game.
Well, it's just fun. It's just funny to me. I mean, I wasn't really. I won't claim to have been trying to do anything productive. I know it's not exactly productive, but it was just funny to make those people mad. Man, it was really funny to me.
Chris, perhaps over your 6-piece there, would you be able to tell the folks what happened, the play-by-play?
Oh well, I mean, I imagine anybody who listens to this show knows, but I mean, I wrote on Twitter, I guess, what seemed to me to be very obvious joke that that I manage a Starbucks. I'm firing employees who say Merry Christmas to customers, and I'm doing it because I personally dislike conservative Christians. But that's the tweet that got all in the news and got like screenshot and all over Facebook. But like as people kept biting, I kept doubling down. So I had other ones that like follow-up tweets that made it even more absurd. It was like, just to clarify, I'm doing this to punish Trump supporters and because I want to erode traditional values. Like it's obviously ridiculous, but it just reaffirming, that war on Christmas narrative. I intend to debate people, of course, but I didn't think, I could never have predicted it would blow up like that. In fact, I was talking to someone earlier today, and there was a point when someone sent me a link to Facebook, and a screenshot of the tweet had been posted on this group called Veterans for Trump or something, and it had 3,000 comments in an hour and a half, and I was like, oh man, I couldn't stop this if I wanted to now. Yes. I wouldn't even matter if I deleted the tweet. This is so far beyond my control. I can't do anything about this. And so then I just sort of stuck between this unstoppable force of boomer conservative resentment being thrown against this big corporation, and I was stuck in the middle. And there's, I guess, of course, There's nothing I could do about it, man. Of course, I got suspended.
Yeah, you hit that veterans page, and now all around North Carolina, you just have 260-pound Vietnam war vets walking around with open carry
Grenada
ARs
war vets, not Vietnam vets.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
My favorite one of your replies to escalate was when someone said, "What is going on in NC?" Like, when you just replied, "We're done with it. We're done with Merry Christmas. It's over." Like, as if a single Starbucks manager in Charlotte could personally cancel Christmas.
Well, I think it's I think it's funny, and I hope that, like, because I know that some people did call around to some local Charlotte area Starbucks. And I hope that no individual workers in the stores were harassed in any sort of way. But it's very funny to me to pissed off all the right wing and then harness their anger and thrown it against Starbucks. That to me is extremely funny, and I stand by it. God damn it! But I hope this isn't like a Pizzagate thing where someone's gonna fucking fire around into the roof of a Starbucks demanding to see the basement or something.
No, I don't think.
No, I don't either.
I don't think it's like that.
I don't think it's like
no
that.
one showed up to the Columbus post office with an AR demanding to see Randy G-Dub, so I think you're in the clear here.
The funniest thing, too, is that the most cursory glance at my Twitter account would clearly show that my location is New York. It's right there in the bio. And then just browse any of the other tweets, and it's so clear that it's I'm joking, But I think and I guess that's the point that the hell dude was trying to make, that it's they don't care. I'm sure some of them believed it. I'm sure a lot of them believed it, but some of them, they don't care because they want to believe it. And this is the persecution narrative.
But they look so fucking stupid. It's really hard to just not confront that fundamental fact of this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to understate how fucking dumb they look and are.
Yeah, I was talking to Dave and Brad, the guys who did the Moves Like Bloomberg video that went around last week.
Brilliant.
And they said something that I've been thinking about ever since, which is
I fell for that. I admit I fucking fell for that right off the bat. I just got full disclosure.
I can't believe you admitted.
It was the morning after the British election. I was so fucking pissed off and hungover.
He was feeling vulnerable.
And that was the first thing I saw, and I just had a complete and total meltdown.
So what they said to me will be extra relevant because of what you just said, Sam. So if you were stupid enough to get fooled by it, maybe you deserve to be fooled by it.
Owned. Yeah, no, I mean,
I love it.
The proof is in the pudding, and the pudding was me getting extremely angry online.
Well, the funny thing was that twice this week, in the past week, I saw several of my people I know online get duped by that. And then also the Ann Chongus thing, that tweet about what did that tweet say exactly? Something about boomer being the N-word or something, and a ton of because she's got a blue check mark, you know what I'm saying? But someone changed their display name and changed their picture, but the name was Ann Chongus. I knew as soon as I saw that it was a joke, but a lot of people instantly it went around and people were quote tweeting it look at this fucking dipshit, you know what I'm saying? It made the rounds right away. It was really funny.
This I kind of learned this with the viral tweet that went on the Eat the Rich account with the Amazon thing and $45 and whatnot.
Yeah, you damn socialist.
That's right. I would see it on Facebook or Reddit or something or Instagram, but the name of the account was cut off, it was just screenshotted, it was cropped, so all you saw was the tweet. So even Chris with the Starbucks tweet, even if they took off Muller Dad 69, it's still
right. It's out there.
There's
no putting the genie back in the bottle. It's out there.
It's its own currency at that point.
Yeah, that's what I said. I had that I distinctly remember the moment. I was like, oh man, this is way bigger than me. I can't stop this.
You got to soak it in and enjoy it, and just think about how many people at their family Christmas dinners are going to hear from some dipshit uncle about how some asshole Starbucks manager in Charlotte, North Carolina tried to ban Christmas.
Well, I have thought about that too, is that there are easily hundreds, maybe thousands of people in this country who are going to repeat the story completely seriously as if it's fact, as if it's something that happened.
Oh, yeah. Which is funny, too, because the last tweet that whoever runs the Eat the Rich pod account tweeted out was something about, like, when you go to your eventual holiday thing, you should, have your talking points for your fucking racist uncle or for your, like, cousin that is apolitical or just doesn't really have an ideology yet. And that was the last thing that happened before it got banned. Can you explain what happened with your Muller Dad account and how that went down?
Oh, well, I mean, got the fuck banned out of it, which I knew, again, I knew that was coming for days, The
tweet did have a bit of a suicide by mod sort of feel to it, I'm not going to lie.
Yes, it did.
The funniest...
Because I remember after you got banned the first time, every time I see a risky tweet from you, I'm just like, I just remember, like, the Sam Knight saga of... just repeatedly getting banned over and over again, and seeing Sam tweet something like pretty spicy or hot for the timeline, and just being like, fuck, he's gonna lose it again. He's gonna lose it again. Just tempting fate.
Well, the funniest part to me is that Starbucks announced my suspension on their Twitter account. Like, that was the funniest.
Yes,
which happened after like all my accounts were banned. I got like not just my account and my alt banned. I got like multiple other shared accounts banned. So I wasn't even on Twitter at the time. I was trying to figure out how to like get on the dark web or some shit. I don't fucking know how any of this works. But yeah, and then I saw Starbucks was tweeting about me as well, and that's just like, that's so surreal. And the weirdest thing, because it was like I was still logged into the account and I could still get notifications, but I just couldn't like post or reply or anything. So I could see I was getting notifications because Starbucks tagged me in the post, so I could see every reply to it like coming through. And it was a bit surreal. It was like an out of body experience. It was like I was hovering over the corpse of my account, my Twitter account, and like I could just see
I was gonna
everybody.
say, it's like dying and watching your funeral.
It was a really weird day, dude, for that reason. But no, one last thing about it, it was funny. It was once people started sending me stuff, once it started appearing on Facebook, like I started like a Facebook burner account because I don't have Facebook, and so like I started like searching around for my Twitter handle on Facebook, and like this is not the first time that I've made like conservative groups really mad. Like there was several of my other tweets that like had made it there in the past, like one about like how I wasn't going to give Halloween candy to the children of Republicans in my neighborhood and like stuff like that. Like they knew who I was. They'd already been stewing on me. So that was pretty funny. Funny to discover. Like there was one that was just like, I would rather my daughter marry a member of ISIS than a Republican, and like they posted that on there like as if I was 100% serious. Like that's the most outrageous statement ever. But they're like, look at this sick person. And had like 300 comments on it.
I would rather let my daughter date an ISIS person than a Republican, though. That's not a bit.
Was it? It was ISIS. It wasn't MS-13.
Rob Rousseau was the MS-13.
Yeah,
tweet.
no, I totally bit Rob's style on that. Rob's basically said the same thing, except with MS-13. Right.
It's okay. You gotta diversify your portfolio.
But that's the thing. It's a meme now. It's a meme.
Oh, it's formulaic. Everything. I mean, the Starbucks thing for me was 100% based. The inspiration was Randy G-Dub's tweet. You know what I'm saying? It was old hat. I wasn't doing anything original. That's why I can't believe it worked the way it did.
Right. No, I'm not trying to criticize you. I'm just,
I know. It's
just astonishing that people
they fall for it.
They take the bait every time.
Every time.
Unlike me, incredible. Who never took the bait on the Michael Bloomberg dance.
Oh, no.
That was believable. I'm sorry. I'll just say it.
There's no way, like, maybe if there was like a recording somewhere, we could, I don't know, rewind and learn if you actually did fall for the video or not. Good thing that doesn't exist.
Wow. So Muller Dad got banned, but what was the reason? Like, what was the violation of the terms of service? I don't get it. Like
evading, I guess I'll say it, evading a permanent suspension.
But you were, man.
Right. What was the Muller Dad? What was the first offense though? Like, why did the Starbucks...
evading a permanent? That's not my first account. But I guess I've just slid by until like I was mass reported, and they like took a close look at it, and they're like, "Oh, okay, it's this asshole."
So you got your IP banned, which is why the Eat the Rich account probably got banned because of the one time you logged into it like fucking 4 months ago or something.
Yeah. I didn't do anything specifically against the terms of service with the Starbucks thing. I've been very well behaved. I know where, like Sam was saying, I know where the line is, you know. But I mean, I guess I made enough people mad that like Twitter took a close look at it and they're like, okay, like this guy's done this before, so they just banned me again.
So that's the question that I have that I want to like interrogate.
Okay.
Was there a point where there's some back channel, whatever, between Starbucks corporate, you know, their marketing team or whatever, and Twitter that was like, listen, this is a problem? You're laughing, Chris. You're laughing, Chris, because I know what tickles you is that you put out a short, like a 3-sentence tweet, and then this fucking ripple took off.
Well, that's, and I realized again, like several days before it even, because this went on, this like slow brewed for like over a week. As soon as it started like making the rounds,
just like Starbucks coffee.
yeah. But like after a couple of days, I noticed that if you like just searched for like 2 Starbucks, like on Twitter, if you did a search for that, so you could like see the comments that were directed at Starbucks, like a good 75-80% of them were like yelling about me. You know what I'm saying? Like far more than so like they're like pretty early on, like their whoever runs their social media account was like aware of like being bombarded. Like they were aware of what was happening. So yeah, I'm sure there was, especially once Steve King fucking got involved. Like that was when I feel like I got totally IP banned, because it was right after that happened. It was right after I saw the Steve King thing that like all my accounts went down. So it's just, yeah, I just imagined like Starbucks and Twitter like on the horn with each other.
But exactly.
I could imagine Starbucks though, like trying to get you banned and Twitter not really working properly, and like, well, I'm not saying you should have been banned, but you know, I
was asking for it.
A little bit, but the point is I can imagine Starbucks like basically having to corral like tens of thousands of its own workers to mass report you just to game the algorithm and get you banned.
I don't think they needed any help getting people to mass report me. I was definitely being mass reported already. The funniest I still think about. I gotta go back and find the reply and screenshot it, because there was one guy who was like talking about how he'd got off the phone with corporate or something, and like I don't remember who it was. It might have been Lizard Rumsfeld or someone on Twitter. Some fucking genius decided to go and Google and like search for his name on Facebook, and they found his personal Facebook, and they found this whole long post like complaining about me, where he said like, it's like, I already called, like I'm gonna call every Starbucks in Charlotte if I have to. I already called 2, and they laughed at me and hung up.
I'm trying to reach Mr. Mueller.
Yeah.
This is why I don't use Facebook anymore.
Oh, unusable.
I don't use.
Unusable.
I got banned from Facebook years ago. Do you remember?
What?
Do you remember the whole like mass? Other than the war on Christmas, like the big conservative mass hysteria from a couple years ago, where they all thought that like the Antifa civil war was going to happen in like November 4th, 2017. Yeah. Like I found.
Yes, I do. I do now.
Yeah. So I found all of these Facebook groups, like the weeks leading up to that were like patriots against Antifa and like anti-Antifa for America or something, like all these like and it's basically you get into the groups and it was just like, I mean, just hundreds of pissed off Trump supporters, basically like just fantasizing about like being able to justifiably murder somebody because that's what they really want to do, and it's like, oh, I can't wait till these Antifa pussies try to get into my house, and like they were like showing off pictures. They were like posting pictures
of their... Are you having a Klan rally at your house?
Yeah. They were posting pictures of their guns, and like everybody was like, yeah, you think a 12 gauge is going to be enough? And then like someone else is like, a 22 will be enough to stop these pussies. And then all I did was reply. I replied, I've triangulated all your IP addresses and reported them to my Antifa superior officers. Those shotguns aren't going to protect you from drone strikes. And like... Which again so absurd on its face that you would think that anybody would be able to tell that was a joke, but like they got really pissed off and like they screenshotted that, and that got passed around to all the other Antifa patriot groups or whatever, and like they mass reported me, and that's how I got banned from Facebook.
I mean, you want to know why this happens? It's because these big tech conglomerates like Facebook and Twitter, they farm out all their content moderation to just like weird like buildings that used to be strip malls in random towns, and they fill them with like college students, And then, they have like 4 seconds to decide if a post stays up or not. And so they just misfire constantly because their brains are getting like turned to shit while they do it. So, they read a post like that and they're like, oh, plotting the coordinates for a drone strike. Oh, dear. And nope.
Yeah, this must be ISIS.
Just move along,
So that's how it works. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's exploitation, I think. I mean, and it's also just the terms of service and the way they're written just don't make any sense and don't have like room for satire, really. But
the most fucked up thing about the mods is all the really poorly paid people who have to take down posts and videos that are legitimately traumatizing of basically snuff films. And these people, the workers who do that work are paid just like nothing and getting like no mental health care, and it's incredibly grim.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to bring the mood down here.
Oh no, that's very on brand for Eat the Rich. So.
Well, that's interesting, and that's something I never even thought about it that way. Because there's a lot of especially I remember after the New Zealand shooting, you know what I'm saying? Like that video got plastered all over Twitter, and somebody had to go through all those and take all those down, and this kind of stuff happens all the time.
That's the thing that fucking blew my gourd, which is why is there literal Nazis on Twitter right now? Literal Nazis who've been on the news with hate speech and slurs and shit like that are just they're verified accounts, and then little old Eat the Rich gets nuked for a slight IP. It's just
fake and phony witch hunt, folks.
Listen, Chris, just think about it this way. Maybe somewhere out there in Palo Alto, California, somewhere in one of these big content moderation farms, you made somebody smile before they banned you permanently.
Sounds like you made a few Starbucks workers smile too when that guy called them up demanding you get fired.
Yeah, I thought about that too. When I saw the Starbucks account just being bombarded by people and they weren't replying to it at all. I'd see I'd scroll through all the angry replies to them, right? And then they wouldn't answer any of those. And then somebody some random normie would reply I love the new holiday blend, you know what I'm saying? And then the Starbucks account would reply glad to hear it, you know what I'm saying? Or something like that. And it's so funny to see them ignore all of the hey, fuck you, boycott Starbucks, and then just reply to all the innocuous ones. But I like to imagine that whoever was doing that was probably more than likely some young, probably more than likely progressive leaning person. You know what I'm saying? Whoever is in charge of that social media account. So I would like to think that maybe they got a little bit of enjoyment out of it. I know I would. Hopefully, that's how I justify it to myself.
Maybe Starbucks had they had to spend enough money on it that it dealing with this problem that it took a slight chunk out of their budget that they used to fuck over coffee farmers around the world, which is how they built their entire brand to begin with.
We should also probably mention that the tweet made quite a bit of news. I believe it was Business Insider that had the first.
Oh yeah, they had the scoop.
They had the first scoop on it, and then Zach something from The Hill picked it up and did a pretty good write up on it. And then they talked about. We can put in a little montage for this. You made the Michael Brooks show on Majority Report. You made the Young Turks.
A Twitter troll who goes by the handle MullerDad69 fooled white nationalist representative Steve King so hard that he deserves an award. So what did he do exactly? Well, according to Business Insider, the account, MullerDad69, claimed to be owned by a Starbucks manager who proudly discriminated against social conservatives by banning his employees from saying Merry Christmas to customers.
I'm going to interrupt for a second. I saw that headline online and I was like, no, it didn't. That didn't happen. But people were taking it seriously at the time. They didn't know it was a troll. I'm like, I don't know what the story is, and all I saw was the headline, but I pulled up Ben Mankiewicz. That didn't happen.
Shout out to the Young Turks. And was there anything else I'm missing?
Newsweek, which is barely even a legitimate even thing anymore.
To me, the fucking funniest part of the whole thing was the unbelievably strong boomer energy that Steve King had in the actual post, because it was a screenshot of a screenshot.
Yeah.
With somebody screenshotted. You can see Verizon, they had 5 bars, and then the top one was T-Mobile, on an iPhone. Unbelievable.
I want to know more about his cell phone connection. He had pretty good service. I'm wondering, is that in Iowa? Is that in DC?
Well, the picture he posted was the same one that was on the Veterans for Trump page. That's where he got it from.
Got it.
So he plagiarized.
Yeah, Steve King is stealing content.
There's a share button.
Yeah, this is the word.
I think just because you're a member of Congress, you're part of the 1%, you're taking 99% of the content and distributing it for your benefit. Yeah, I don't think so, Buster.
This is the worst thing he's ever done.
Just because you're a Holocaust denier doesn't mean you think you can just stomp over content creators.
Yeah, it was covered in the Daily Dot, the Independent Journal Review, which
is my favorite source of journalism.
It's a right-wing publication. GOP congressman falls for tweet suggesting Starbucks employees are fired for saying Merry Christmas. Daily Dot headline, Congressman falls for hoax saying Starbucks is firing employees who say Merry Christmas. You made history, my dude.
I think you, out of any veteran of the War on Christmas, deserve the Medal of Honor for this one. I honestly think like MVP, the War on Christmas, this year goes to you.
The most touching, perhaps the most touching post I saw was Carpe Dunctum.
Where he's just like, oh man, where'd he go?
I know. You got to reach out to him, man.
I don't know. It feels like a honeypot, man. I thought about reaching out to him today, or I thought about like adding him in a post today, but like I don't want him to be like, aha, you know what I mean, and then report me.
Yeah.
No, you know what you got to do? You got to email him and just be like, Mr. Donktum, sir.
Mr. Donktum.
But then say the same shit you'd always say to him, like, Dear Mr. Donktum, I'm going to leave you in a car and forget to roll the windows down. Love Chris.
Oh, that was the most fun I ever had on Twitter, honestly, dude.
The best headline was the Business Insider one, which was Congressman Steve King got duped by a troll named MullerDad69.
Oh, wow.
It never gets old reading those. It's amazing.
Well, Steve King, obviously notoriously gullible as well. You know, I'm sure we'll all remember friend of the show, Ken Klippenstein. Like he got him back on the 4th of July by like adding him in a post, which is literally a picture of the actor Jack Nicholson from A Few Good Men, and said like, "Hey, this is my."
No. That's Ken's brother.
Am I frozen? Or what's happening here?
Uh-oh.
No, I think
Sam died.
Sam's having some troubles there.
I'm back. I'm back, boys.
Yes.
I don't mean to sound like Mark Maron, but I'm starting to think these internet companies are fucked.
Stamps.com.
Oh, you socialists will use an internet that fucking craps out every 15 minutes.
That's right.
You like buying an iPhone every 3 years, but yet you hate capitalism.
Hey Sam, just real quick, I just want to make clear, didn't we start this whole thing tonight with you talking shit on me and my internet connection?
Damn. Owned.
Bodied.
That's twice you've been owned on the record tonight.
And yet you still sound like a Charlie Brown teacher from my end.
This is when not to the people who are going to be listening. This is crisp, clear iPhone fucking audio directly into my iPhone, recorded and then distributed to the people.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh shit! Now Chris is doing ad reads. Eat the rich. Yeah, right, Chris. iPhone. Who am I? I'm Chris.
PMC.
Now when I was a young boy, about the age of 5, my teachers taught me I could be the greatest man alive. They told me I could change the world, be whatever I wanted to be. There was no one in the world like me. Every one of us was so unique. I'd not be an average man. No, sir, I'd be no average man. So I have those big dreams.
Welcome back, everybody, to Eat the Rich. This is a show about our political economy, late-stage capitalism, and the millionaires, billionaires, and multinational corporations hell-bent on staving off its death rattle. I'm Dwight. Today we have with us Chris.
Howdy, folks.
From the District Sentinel, we have Mr. Sam Knight.
Hello.
And joining Eat the Rich for the first time, the host of Shitpost, Mr. Jared Holt.
Hey, what's up?
Shane is indisposed this week, being a scholarly
I have to admit, I think, sorry, I talked over you. Start over.
No. You're sitting in his chair, but please tell us what you were saying.
We're off to a great start here.
I was going to say, I think the term late capitalism is very optimistic.
Yeah, you might be right.
Hey guys, is there any way we can hit snooze on this late capitalism thing and get a few more years of shut-eye? Am I right?
God. Well, this week was bleak enough.
Sorry, I didn't mean to kick us off there by shitting on the term that you guys use in your show all the time.
Yeah, no. Think about it. It's like one of those things, you write it once and then don't think about it again for the duration of however long the show goes, or until whenever the podcast account gets nuked again. We'll have to see. So this should be coming out on the week of Christmas, the week of Hanukkah, next week, Monday or Tuesday. This is our holiday special. I want to be very clear. This is not going to be uplifting in the least bit. This isn't going to be cheery as shit. America is a brutal country. We want to represent it as such, or see it clearly for exactly what it is. Something that we'd been talking a lot about on the show for the past few episodes, and just something we've been thinking about in general, and we wanted to touch on, especially going into this holiday season, are the workers in America that, just no other way to say it, just have to handle getting through the holidays, because it is fucked up. If you work in retail, if you work in logistics, if you work in travel, transportation, it's maddening, and you have to work. Like, one thing I always thought about is like a train conductor looking at his watch at like 11:59 on December 31st and being like, Happy New Year, just like alone. like this happens, and this is, as workers, as the people that have to grease the wheels of this whole political economy, we're working. And then more pointedly, more specifically, what I think is a more insidious part of the economy that is just widely accepted is temporary workers. Workers that are contracted, or a multinational conglomerate like Amazon that might contract out to logistics companies that can just hire and fire quickly, right? These are positions without benefits. These are positions that are not full-time. These are positions that bring the right-to-work model to non-right-to-work states, right? There's no protections for our workers. So I wanted to just read one thing quickly, which was interesting. Just the headline here. It was a headline from last year, 2018. This is from e-commerce bites, whatever. It says, Amazon plans to hire 100,000 workers for holiday season 2018. Then, from this year, a Bloomberg article stated,
Hell yeah.
Moves like Bloomberg.
Amazon doubles holiday hiring to 200,000 temporary workers. And I'll just read a little bit of this here. Amazon.com Incorporated will hire 200,000 seasonal workers in the United States to fetch products in its warehouses, pack boxes, and make deliveries, doubling the number of temporary workers it hired last year and signaling the world's biggest online retailer expects a strong fourth quarter. I want to come back to that in a second, but it goes on to say, in an emailed statement, Amazon attributed the hiring growth to the increasing breadth of its logistics operations, which include stowing, packing, and sorting products and shipping them to customers' homes from facilities specifically designed for e-commerce rather than sending goods to retail stores.
So, Dwight, that sounds to me like the economy is booming. So why is...
Unemployment is down, jobs are up.
You'll never believe it. We're going to hire so many people.
Why is that fallacious?
You're going to get sick of jobs. Yeah. I mean, look, this is the kind of shit that makes me go apoplectic when I'm like reading this on the train or something. But I think what's interesting here is that when it said workers it hired last year and blah, 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 and signaling the world's biggest online retailer expects a strong fourth quarter.
Well, no shit.
Incredible, right?
You tell me Amazon's going to make some money?
Shane said this in an earlier episode, I think like one of our first, which is like the end goal of capitalism is not like, something that we would think in our socialism of like, we want to have a 100% literacy rate, or we want to increase the life expectancy, something like that.
Right.
The only end goal for capitalism, as far as it sees, is the next quarterly report.
Exactly. Profit for the shareholders.
Right. And that comes at the detriment of the workers, because in any sort of especially retail situation, there's only so, like, you can only make the product so cheap. You have to buy the materials to make the product at the end of the day. You have to pay your bills to keep the lights on, to make your forklifts run, that sort of thing. So where the costs are often cut is the human cost. You try to get away with paying people as little as possible. You bring in temp work instead of hiring full-time workers. These are 200,000 people that could have good paying jobs, and Amazon could pay them well to have good paying jobs and make things easier for the rest of the year, but they won't. It's always the people that are working in these jobs that get the brute force of, trying to scrape a few extra percentage points on the top so all the shareholders are happy.
And obviously, to add insult to injury, this is deliberate government policy on many levels. I mean, for one, as Dwight alluded to, it's incredibly difficult to form unions. I mean, it's impossible if you're a temporary worker, but I mean, Jeff Bezos has union busting down to a science at Amazon, just like everything else he has down to a science to squeeze everything he can out of his workers, who he literally works to death in a lot of cases. And some of the stories you read about injuries, people, the occupational hazards of working in these Amazon logistic in the warehouses and stuff. And then on top of that, because it's so hard to form unions in this country, on top of that, Amazon is heavily fucking subsidized by federal and local and state governments. And it's very infuriating.
I'm really, really glad that you brought that up, Sam, because there was an article in The Intercept from the 2nd of December this year by Claire Brown called How Amazon's On-Site Emergency Care Endangers the Warehouse Workers It's Supposed to Protect. And the first paragraph reads, earlier this year, a falling object struck a worker's head at an Amazon fulfillment center in Robbinsville, New Jersey. Worker visited AmCare,
Jesus.
the company's on-site medical unit. Yeah. And told the emergency medical technicians on staff there that he had a headache and blurred vision. Classic symptoms of a concussion.
And he said, sorry, you don't have Prime.
According to company protocol, Amazon's medical staff should have sent the worker to a hospital or doctor's office for further evaluation, or at least called a physician for advice. They did neither.
I wonder why.
Exactly. This was one of 6 instances at Robbinsville's fulfillment center between February and May in which staff at the AmCare clinic failed to provide adequate medical care to injured employees, according to a warning letter issued by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration.
Bezos is he's a vampire. He's a literal fucking vampire. I'm sorry, I don't mean to try to fill Shane's shoes here and melt down like this, but just hearing this shit is just fucking good. Guillotine jokes are corny.
There's no other way to say it. Exactly as you just said. The entire apparatus is set up to abet these worker practices that are just fucking vampiric.
And abate their tax bill too. You're not wrong there.
Exactly.
Right, but it also exists in a system that is designed to facilitate this kind of thing and in fact celebrates it as some sort of triumph of innovation and, moving humanity forward.
That's right.
When really it's just like super fucked up.
Yeah, no, Bezos, he exhibits all the characteristics of a bully, a sociopath, a hoarder. Like if you were to strip him of certain things, like and just sort of described how his life goes, like I feel like 19 out of 20 people would be like, this guy is just the worst. But yes, because he has a lot of money, everyone's like, oh, well, he's a job creator, he's an innovator. Everyone else is just jealous of him. He's awful. Like, he legitimately should be locked in prison.
He is the problem. I mean, and in The Intercept, too, they go on to explain, which illustrates the point, Amazon, a company that is now worth $800 billion. The point is, there's fucking money to have a goddamn full-on surgery OR at every Amazon fulfillment center. Like, the money exists there.
Yeah.
But that's not the point of a corporation under capitalism. The point is to concentrate as much of that money as possible to as few people as possible. And, I was thinking about this today because it also said, I think it has, blah, blah, blah. Since 2014, the company's workforce has increased fivefold. Since 2014, fivefold from 154,000 to 750,000 workers. And again, this is full-time and part-time. And I'm sure, obviously, a lot of that part-time. But so I was thinking about it. I was like, well, that's worldwide. How does this work in countries where, for instance, there might be more worker protection? And New York Times had an article that came out 2 days ago on the 17th, and this was about Amazon workers in Germany. And it's actually by Reuters, and it says German union calls for more pre-Christmas Amazon strikes. It's very short, so I'll read it. Workers at 3 Amazon logistics centers in Germany have joined a strike by a trade union, Verdi, that will last until Saturday as part of a long-running bid for better pay and conditions. So the strategy there, I mean, it's Christmas next fucking week. There's, squeezing them. They're using the timing of this very presciently. Unions have staged repeated strikes in Germany, Amazon's second largest market after the United States. Interesting. Since 2013, hoping to force the e-commerce company to recognize collective bargaining agreements that apply to other retail companies or other retail employees. Verdi said in a statement on Thursday that around 1,200 workers have joined the strike that started during the Sunday to Monday night shift at warehouses in Bad Hersfeld, Koblenz, and Leipzig, and is due to last until Saturday. The work at Amazon is tough, particularly at Christmas time, and the pressure is extremely high. Employees pay the price for Amazon's fast delivery promise to its customers, Verdi said.
It's the time that their labor is most valuable to the company, and yet the company is trying to get the cheapest labor it can get, aka temporary labor, at least in the U.S. Not to bring this back to the U.S. here, but go on.
That's it. Look, let us bring this to the U.S. because how would this even go down right now? Workers are disallowed from organizing. This could never happen in America right now, as it stands with Amazon.
General strike. It's time for a general strike.
I mean, we've been talking about that for a long time. I mean, that's absolutely one of the things that we can do to cripple capital in the short term, is to do a general strike.
Well, look, I mean, I don't know. If you, practically speaking, if you wanted to try, I would sincerely recommend hanging out by one of these Amazon fulfillment centers and seeing if you can talk to these workers about their working conditions, because who knows where that'll take you. But that's really about, it's tale as old as time. So that is one legitimate thing you can do. But again, I would imagine that a lot of these workers would not want to talk to you for good reason, because they're afraid they would get fired. The company is ruthless.
Yeah, I'm just picturing Sam Knight outside an Amazon warehouse in a trench coat going, "Psst, hey man, you want a union?"
Well, that's...
No. Take up smoking. Just start smoking cigarettes, and eventually someone will come up to you.
I agree with that. But no, as far as a general strike, it's hard to not be pessimistic. I don't see how does something like that even organized in a day and age where even in a place like where you have a large workforce working in a warehouse like Amazon or something, it's not like back in the day where you had a factory town or something where everybody worked at the same place and they all walked home together and they lived in the same place and they had this sense of community. We're all the workers in this country are so atomized to a point where like you said, if you approach somebody about unionizing, they may have never even talked about that before, because everybody is so separate from themselves and each other in the workplace that those conversations so rarely take place. Something like a general strike, I wish, but I mean it's hard for me to be optimistic about such a thing unless things get really, really bad.
Yeah, I was tweeting about general strikes in the early days of Trump, just sort of on a hope and a prayer that who knows, maybe you start tweeting about something say, for example, you tweet about how you're a Starbucks manager and you fire people for saying Merry Christmas, and then suddenly you've got a whole lot of eyeballs coming your way. But yeah, no, it's incredibly optimistic, I think, to even imagine a general strike happening, but obviously it would be dope as shit.
Honestly, I think the closest we've come to success, I don't think this gets talked about enough, was when during the Muslim ban, we shut down the airports.
Huge mass movement, dude. So cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Because we've talked about this on Eat the Rich before, shutting down the airports are how capital gets around. That's how rich people get around. So when you're clogging that shit up and they can't get through, I mean, it was within hours. Yeah. Within hours, it changed.
I was going to say, we shut down National Airport briefly for the worldwide Uber strike in May. Some organizers here in D.C. and they were pretty freaked out. They were the airport security was emailing us, and they one guy they CC'd his work, trying to fuck with him. Clearly, they told us just completely false things about about what sort of constitutional rights we had and the scenario we were thinking about, to the point where we called ahead of time to talk to the airport security. And the main guy was like, yeah, no, this guy, he's only in charge of, like, you know, the for-hire car part, and he doesn't speak for the whole airport in terms of security.
Wow.
And we laid out what we were going to do, and they're like, that's fine. But yeah, ultimately what we did is we just had a convoy of cars coming up and down, and had they let us go, it probably wouldn't have been, you know, that much of a traffic jam. But they sort of freaked the fuck out and basically did our job for us. And it's really easy. It's really easy to get a reaction out of choke points in the economy that are heavily important.
You know, I've been tweeting about this for a few months now, which is like, and I am kind of serious about this, that we need to have like predetermined places in every city that we go to celebrate when Henry Kissinger dies.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the airport, just to like, let's slingshot all that energy and just like do a general strike. But seriously too, like, I think one of the most powerful unions in America is the Association of Flight Attendants, CWA, because like they can shut that shit down in a hurry.
They fucking shut down the government shutdown.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, not even because they wouldn't get paid, but because other people at the airport weren't getting paid. So, like, they showed, like, real solidarity.
Which is theoretically, some might argue that's illegal under Taft-Hartley to do a secondary picket like that. If that qualifies, I don't know what degrees or whatever. I'm kind of talking out of my ass here. But, you know, I guess I just bring that up to say that, like, labor law in this country sucks, and you should break it all the fucking time.
Yeah, exactly.
Some capitalist, Jeff Bezos, is listening to this, and he's like, break a labor law. Well, I guess if the socialist says I can, I should.
Mr. Bezos, please come on the show.
Well, that's the thing. When bosses violate, like, you know, the NLRA, often they'll just like, and it is still humiliating for them, but they'll have to like read something in front of their employees, be like, I will not violate the NLRA. But, you know, when a lot of workers do it, like, I don't know. It's beware of the courts and pissing them off too much is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, if I can kick us while we're down for a second, there was just
I'm not down. I'm feeling fantastic, man.
Okay, good. Good. Just another paragraph here from an article that was in these times from last year, from September 2018, and it reads, "Low wages and no stability, how Amazon's use of permatemps is hurting workers. Across the United States, Amazon warehouses are capitalizing on depressed areas to boost profits."
Oh.
Listen to this. It says,
oh.
Every day at 4:30 a.m., Dwayne Wilson, 25, wakes up to find out whether he's going to be needed as a forklift driver at the warehouse he works at.
Oh, yeah.
In the Los Angeles. See, I told you I'd get you there. In the Los Angeles neighborhood of Wilmington. Sometimes he gets a call telling him not to come in. Sometimes he goes in to find out that he's not needed that day. On average, he works just 3 8-hour days per week at $15 an hour. He says, even if I work every day and I have an amazing work ethic, I still could be sent home after waiting for so long because they fill the spot. It says, the products that Wilson moves are destined for Amazon customers, but Wilson doesn't work directly for the e-commerce giant. He works for California Cartage, a logistics company that has a contract to unpack shipping containers full of Amazon goods. Wilson says that the majority of the cargo moving through his warehouse is headed straight to Amazon fulfillment facilities.
Yeah, no, that's how they do it in rural areas. Like where I'm from in Arkansas, there's not an Amazon like distribution center, so they just get it like somewhere close, and then all these sort of secondary. My experience with it is like the shipping companies, right? They throw all of the stuff into this like secondary shipping contractor type thing. So Amazon is able to like essentially enable these really predatory hiring practices to keep the cost down by passing the buck on to a contractor. So if something gets out of control, they can be like, well, that wasn't really us.
Right.
It's also a way to get around the NLRA, because if you have a network of contractors, it makes it way more harder for your workers to unionize too.
Can you, for our benefit, can you explain just briefly the NLRA?
Oh, I'm gonna get fucking owned by a lot of people on Twitter for getting.
We don't
this
have
wrong.
to do it.
No,
if
no,
you
no, no.
If you don't feel comfortable.
No, the basics. The basics is that every employee has the right to engage in concerted activity for mutual aid and benefit of fellow employees. Now, the key word is employee, and there are a lot of ways that management can try to minimize the number of employees they have, and one way is saying, well, he's not an Amazon employee, he's an employee of fucko rat shit logistics or whatever. So I guess that is the relevant aspects of the statute that I brought up here with regards to the contractors. And to the Obama administration's credit, they actually tried to make it harder for companies to do this with their joint employer rule, but that didn't hold because obviously the board, the National Labor Relations Board, which administers the NLRA, is now controlled by Republicans because Hillary. Because Hillary didn't want to campaign around the Great Lakes because she had celebs to hang out with and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, her TI-84 calculator told her that she was safe, so she passed it over.
Her Parkinson's was acting up, man. That's all.
So, this isn't all just about Amazon. Obviously, this goes into retail and stuff too, but which I want to talk about in a second. But just for fun, earlier this week, I was interested. I was like, let me try to just kind of sign up, or just do a little like just the cursory part of like signing up for one of these temporary jobs, because I see this all the time in New York City, and it's absolutely bizarre. I've been looking at like FedEx trucks, and when you look closely, you look down and it says like, some trucking company LLC, even though it's, it's got the FedEx wrap all over it, but it says like some trucking company LLC. It says something like a contracted service carrier, out of Maspeth, Queens or something like that. The point is, even with FedEx, they're subcontracting these trucking companies for the holiday season.
Well, no, that's FedEx's entire business model is making, from what I understand it, is they make their drivers become independent contractors. Yep. Whereas UPS actually has them as employees, and they have a union and shit. And FedEx is just like FedEx is a scab company basically. And I don't know. I think we need to do a better job on the left of just like trying to shame people out of using FedEx, because for where we're at right now in terms of the mood of the country and our politics, I feel like that's something we could hit on. Don't ever fucking use FedEx.
Something I've been thinking about a lot, which is, the idea of the last mile. Because a lot of these routes...
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these routes, especially in like rural areas of America, they're not profitable to reach, right? So often FedEx or UPS will use USPS, will use the Postal Service to go to that last mile. And, if it's not profitable...
These companies should be nationalized. I'll just cut you off right there. These companies should be nationalized.
Just cut to the chase, yes. These companies should be fucking nationalized. It's fucking... We're paying for it regardless. Like, we, the taxpayer, pays for the United States Postal Service. So why are we not reaping any of the benefits? All that wealth is getting concentrated to just a small amount of shareholders. The package is getting there regardless. Why are we paying for it?
Which, by the way, the United States Postal Service consistently has the highest approval rating among government agencies. So when people,
it's one of my personal favorites.
When people say that, oh, you want everything to be like the post office? Yeah, we actually fucking do.
Fuck yeah. Yes, we fucking do. I want to do postal banking. You think I want to get charged fucking $3.50 every time I want to take a 10 out of the fucking ATM? No, go to a post office. This is insane bullshit.
Yeah, I just think like a company like UPS or FedEx, like if somebody saw the post office and was just like some entrepreneur business student was like, yeah, fuck the post office. We can build a better post office, and we'll do it by exploiting workers.
So going back to the Amazon jobs thing, I mean, this is not some, gumshoe in-depth reporting. I'm not a journalist, clearly, guys. But it's some dystopian shit. Like if you go, I like went through the frequently asked questions and, went to a part about the drug test, and it was bleak. It was like, if you failed your drug test, you must go through an appeal process with one of their medical review officers. And it's like, if you haven't heard from us, or whatever, you haven't passed your drug test, if you need to, call this number and you try to get it. They do the I-9 forms, which is like immigration forms, and they perform that check that's outsourced to a company called i9advantage.com, which proudly lists itself as an Equifax company. Like, by the way, the same company that accidentally leaked all 120 million of our social security numbers onto like the dark web so that every fucking taxpayer in America has their social security number out there. It's bizarre.
They can do whatever they want with my social security number, man. They can't ruin my credit any more than another. I'd like to see someone try.
Eat the Rich listener challenge. Ruin Chris's credit more.
The only thing you could possibly do is maybe improve it.
Yeah, you take out a loan for $10,000 and you don't pay it. Chris's credit score goes way up.
I mean, this is like a topic for a whole other show, which I'd love to do at some point, which is just on credit rating agencies in general, because they are just fucking morally bankrupt and just putting us down to like one number and us just slaving our entire lives to hope to marginally improve it. It's fucking insane. But Amazon Flex is what I started to look into. You know how when you're home and you get a delivery at your house, but like at an odd hour, like 8 p.m. on a Sunday or something?
Yeah.
And it's not Postal Service, it's not USPS, it's probably not UPS, it's not FedEx. The chances are it was delivered by a fellow member of the working class working for Amazon Flex. So basically how it works is...
Are they using their personal vehicles?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow.
Basically, the gist is you download the app, you get approved or whatever. You have to put in your information, your driver's license and your birth date and all that stuff. You download the app, you drive to a local fulfillment center, you use your phone to scan the packages you're given, and you use your phone's camera to scan them. There's, a little QR code or whatever, and the app navigates you to the destination. Then you snap a picture with your phone to show where you put the package, front door, side entrance, garage, whatever. And then that picture can be shown to the recipient. And at the end of the week, you cash out. I was just looking at this and just vibrating with anger because it's presented like, oh, if you only have a few days off per week and you need to earn some extra money.
Be your own boss.
Exactly. You set your own schedule.
I wake up. I grind. I go to bed. I'm still grinding, but I'm grinding my teeth because I took so much meth to stay awake and do the work.
Get that paper.
Yeah, I've got the paper, I've got the coin, I'm securing the bag. Andrew Yang is my candidate. My name is Jared Holt, and...
grind that paper, fam.
Go ahead, Chris. Just do it, and it's only a second, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I thought you were about to say, oh, I haven't been recording any of that. Like, oh, cool.
My heart just went into my ass with that one, if I got to be honest.
Wait, are you still not recording right now? Because I wanted to bring something up.
I'm recording right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how much this. Well, Chris just fucked up again, and his internet fucked up. No, he got a phone call and his thing dropped.
I got a phone call from Bernie Sanders, man. He tapped me to manage his campaign.
Well, thankfully my connection has been sound because I have Verizon Fios.
Fuck you.
You can watch porn.
This fucking guy.
You can watch porn. Porn at school. Porn at the library. Oh, no. Porn on the bus. Verizon Fios. Everywhere. Hell yeah.
There always is someone watching porn in the library and on the bus, man. That's a thing.
Dude, it's the holiday season, man. In this gig economy, it's called grinding.
I'm rushing, man. Yeah, I got to deliver I've only got fucking 30 minutes to deliver this package because I got to fucking get right to sleep when I get home and get up at 4 a.m. to do it again tomorrow.
If I could break
you think the competitor is going to get that to you?
If I could break the fourth wall for a second, I just want to ask Dwight if you were planning on in your notes if you had stuff about the Somali workers in Minnesota who did it organized at an Amazon warehouse.
No.
And
no.
Okay.
Please.
Well, I don't actually know that much about the story, but so I was kind of hoping that you had read up on it. But there's an entire Wired cover story on it, and I just wanted to note that people are trying, and the company's obviously retaliating against them. So they allege, Amazon lawyers, you fucking piece of fucking humans. They allege retaliation, and I just wanted to inject the story as it's not hopeless trying to organize at these places. It's such an uphill battle, but you know, all we can really do is try.
I just want to bring it home with one last thing. Something I've been seeing a lot in New York, which are cargo bikes.
If they're anything like the shorts, I bet they look fantastic. and I can guarantee you Sam has at least 2.
You can keep fucking packs of smokes in the big pockets. They were okay when you were younger. When I was younger, I wore them.
It was a very different time in like 2001.
That's right.
Different time. So basically, I'll belabor this too much. New York Times.
I didn't have vaping in my day, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's right. You want to get a goddamn nicotine buzz, you're going to get throat cancer. That was very dark.
We knew what it meant to pay a price.
Jeez. The greatest generation. New York Times had a article called "Park It Trucks, Here Come New York's Cargo Bikes." Says New York will allow Amazon, DHL, and UPS to park cargo bikes in commercial loading zones as a way to get some trucks off the city's gridlocked streets, which is a fucking insane way to put this, because it doesn't work like that at all, and it is not an overall good thing. But anyway, it says delivery trucks and vans laden with online packages are putting a stranglehold on New York City streets and filling its air with pollutants. Now a new city program aims to replace some of these delivery vehicles with a transportation mode that is more environmentally friendly and does not commandeer street space: electric cargo bikes.
They're just basically asking their workers to get run over by cabs.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised they're not scooters, to be honest, the way things are going.
Just scooters you can pick up and do like little gigs for Amazon if you have the fucking app. It's like, oh, here's the Zon scooter. It's like you get a free trip uptown. You just have to lug like fucking 500 pounds of cookware behind you.
It says, unlike those vehicles, the bikes will not have to pay meters.
That's generous.
Depriving the city of revenues.
They're depriving the city of revenues. They're subsidizing Amazon by just absorbing all that cost, reducing all that cost. For anybody that does need to park now, they don't have that ability, or it becomes more costly because they need to park in a garage. It's just another way that the apparatus is enriching the Amazon corporation, and Jeff Bezos in hand. And it's just forcing workers into something that's unnatural and something that's new. They are the ones that are taking on the risk for this new program. But, this is typically the way it works in New York City, which is like every time a UPS truck parks in front of its destination and it's in a no standing zone or whatever, they get tickets. And I've talked to UPS drivers about that, and they just say, it's the cost of business. So Amazon's just like, well, fuck it. We can just undercut that by just having an entirely different business model and just eliminate the trucks entirely and eliminate those tickets. Just have workers literally take it there themselves. And it's bleak to watch, like somebody just, drops off the package, gets back on the cargo bike, adjusts the seat, and then looks at the phone to see where the next one is that they have to go. It's exhausting. Can't even imagine it.
Yeah, delivering any sort of job where you have to drive the car is already dangerous enough because of other cars. I can't imagine like how much more dangerous it is if you're on a fucking cargo bike. What do those even look like? I gotta Google this right now.
Is it like just a regular pedal bike, or is it electric, or is it it's powered in some way?
It is a pedal assisted electric bike.
I see, yeah.
And then on the back of it is like a trailer.
Oh yeah, it's like one of those.
It's
like if you wanted to put a dog in the bike, that's what you use.
No, but it's like an actual trailer. Like it hitches to the frame, and then you can fit. They have these kind of like plastic totes, and then you pick out whatever plastic tote, and then that's where they have all the packages lined up. And it's almost like a mini cargo ship. Like all the containers are just perfectly stacked onto each other.
Drivers are such assholes to cyclists. Like this is just such,
in New York City.
Just such a dude, it's fucked up, man. This is
hostile.
This sucks.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of this now. It's somebody on an electric bike, and it's just it's like there's like a tricycle with a flatbed, and then it's just like a cube.
Like this is a sort of thing that rules if you're just in an empty parking lot with your friends and just like drunk as shit. But like using this thing to deliver stuff for an Amazon job, it seems like a fucking nightmare.
Listen, bros, we could go to the club, or we could throw back a few Smirnoff Ices and stimulate the economy.
So, I mean, look, to kind of...
Why are you guys laughing?
To bring this into the kind of larger economic context, the reason that Amazon isn't offering full-time employment for all of the people that work to enrich it is because they don't want to, because it would erode their profits. It's an extremely profitable company, but they're not doing so because it's just in our political economy, that's structured around capital, around capitalism. The point is to extract value out of workers and to concentrate that wealth creation to an extremely small group of people. There's a reason that Jeff Bezos,
he probably wants all the money to buy like robots that look like supermodels he likes.
Nah, man, he definitely is buying the blood of like 13-year-old like German supermodel like esque style like hybrid humans, and then just cutting open the pouches and dumping it on a marble floor. Just fucking whatever.
Nothing makes me
like
feel...
that's the kind of I just imagine rich people just do weird shit like that.
Nothing makes me feel so low as when I hear resistance libs get mad at Trump for like criticizing Bezos. That is like a special type of fucking depression you feel when you hear that shit.
Oh no, especially when the Washington Post has like some fucking like epic op-ed against Trump, and because Bezos owns it, it's like haha, fucking resistance hero Jeff Bezos, take that, Mango Mussolini.
By the way, fucking weird things that rich people do. Jeff Bezos eats iguanas?
What?
That was like he was like, dude, look it up. He was like on the cover of some magazine eating an iguana. That was, hang on, let's take a look.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
We've discussed this before, but I think it's almost like I'm almost more comfortable with like the super wealthy like doing fucking weird eccentric shit like that than like it's almost more psychopathic to be like Warren Buffett. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, I've lived in the same house since very modest house since the 1970s, and you know I've been driving the same car for 20 years. Like just hoarding money for the sake of hoarding money. I mean, if you're gonna be a fucking rich asshole, fucking drink people's blood, be a fucking supervillain, dude. Eat iguana. Fuck it, man. Show it for what it is.
I bet Jeff Bezos like kicked himself when Jordan Peele came out with Get Out, because he was like, God damn it, I was gonna do that.
I've been working on this for years.
So look, I mean, one of the things that I wanted to bring up as well, which I thought was really important, is homelessness and the experience of not being in a home, especially around the holiday season. And when we think about like the fact that this system only exists with these like people that are completely marginalized and are brutalized by the political economy of capitalism, that they end up having to live without a home, I just wanted to like draw some attention to it, because especially on a day like today, which was fucking freezing, and like I was on a train today and saw a guy come in that was like clearly homeless, and just like he was shivering.
Yeah, man.
As he got on the train. And I know we've talked about this before, Chris, and I hope you don't mind if we kind of open it up to you and just like somebody who's experienced this before, like, can you walk us through kind of what it's like, especially around the holidays, or especially around when it starts to get cold outside?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think about these things all the time. I mean, I was, having, again, lived homeless, having lived that experience. Like the other night, I was taking the train. I was like waiting at the train station on this elevated platform. And it was like really cold and windy. And so like those things are always present in my mind when it's cold out. But I mean, when I was homeless, it was in Northern California. So it still gets cold, but not quite New York cold. But I don't know. I mean, what do you want to know?
What was it like around the holidays specifically?
I mean, grim, man. Grim. I can remember this one Thanksgiving in particular that I spent like sitting outside this Valero gas station in Santa Rosa, California, panhandling. spent the Thanksgiving and a Christmas in Santa Rosa, and then I spent another Thanksgiving and a Christmas in San Francisco. San Francisco, even more just grim, but just because just normally you're surrounded by, I mean, it's such an incredibly wealthy city. I mean, you're surrounded in, and I'm sure for our listeners who have been to San Francisco, you have so much on display. You have such visible poverty, coexisting alongside this just tremendous excessive wealth,
Damn.
It is what it is, man. Yeah,
I know. Like, were you able to like reach out to your family like on Christmas Day? Was that something that was even doable?
I mean, we weren't exactly talking.
Yeah,
we didn't talk for several years. But I mean, at the same time, I think about it a lot. Like, I still very closely follow the news out of Santa Rosa, California, because they have such a large homeless population, and it's quite often in the news. In fact, I mean, Santa Rosa is it's a relatively small city. I mean, they have a downtown, but it's only like a couple square blocks. There's no very tall buildings. It's a very small city, but they have this tremendously large homeless population. Like, per capita, it's higher even than San Francisco, but it's all in this very suburban area, And so it's like, if you look in their local newspaper, it's like the top story constantly is like this massive homeless issue, So I follow it very closely, and they've been like chasing people around town, like clearing out a camp, and then everybody will, congregate in another camp, and then it'll grow for a couple months. Like, I think currently, last time I checked, there's camp of about 300 to 400 people alongside this. They basically like shut down this bike trail on the west end of town. So I follow that kind of stuff very closely because I'm interested in it, because I experienced it, but also partially because I have a sense of somewhat, I guess, of like survivor's guilt, I guess, in that I got out of it, and I got out of it in part because I did have a family safety net that was able to take me in eventually, you know what I'm saying? And not all of those people have that, so I don't know. That stays with me a lot. I try to keep close watch on what's going on there.
Realistically, I mean, what's the best thing people can do to help? I mean, I think there's the tendency, which maybe I'm wrong because this is just my own thoughts banging around in my head, but that really pisses me off at the people that are like, you don't want to give them money because they're just going to spend it on drugs. And I'm like, fuck, I drink and I live under a roof. Like, I'm warm at night. Like, fuck me.
Would you rather they die of withdrawal?
Yeah, like I spent I think I got like a $60 bar tab a couple weeks ago, and it's like, who am I to judge?
Yeah, I mean, these fucking people, they go home and they drink their fucking fancy scotch, and probably half of them do a lot of drugs too.
Well, that's the way I've always looked at it as well, and I always do, especially now, I always give money when I can. But I think more important even than giving money is to talk. I mean, in fact, I just moved, I think a month and a half, 2 months ago, and like literally in the local area, like the only person that I've met and like become friends with is this homeless guy that panhandles at the Taco Bell, because like every time I go, I like shoot the shit with him for like a half hour,
we might have to censor the actual name of what you said, because there are angry Starbucks customers who might still be looking for you.
Yeah, good luck.
Trying to find out where you work as a Starbucks manager,
Right. No, but I mean, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is that ultimately I don't care what they do with the money. I mean, I know for me, I was using it on drugs. And, if someone asked me, I'd just tell them. I wouldn't even lie about it. You know what I'm saying? It's not my business. It's like whatever is going to help you to whatever you need, even if it's only temporary, to help you feel better in this moment, then, do whatever you want with this.
Yeah. I think it's important for anybody that's listening, especially as we're going through a holiday season, which is fucking, it's grim for those that are living in houses and like have a good relationship with their families. Go ahead, Chris.
Clean socks.
Really?
Clean socks.
Clean socks, tremendously important. There was people, and like the best people were the ones that were, when you were panhandling, that would like have like clean, and there were people in Santa Rosa like this that just like kept fucking hella pairs of clean socks in their cars that they would just give out to people. Very important. You gotta have clean socks. People don't even think about stuff like that. Simple stuff like that. You can't wear the same socks for more than a couple days in a row.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? You'll get fucking trench foot. You'll get all fucked up.
I think I want to start carrying some on me.
Yeah, that's a simple thing that most people wouldn't even consider.
No, seriously. I mean, like, I think about, like, what I've got in my bag that I carry with me all day anyway, just during my course of my day. What the fuck is the problem with carrying a pack of clean socks in there to, like, give to somebody that is hurting? And money, obviously, too. I don't
Give
know.
them money, yeah. I mean, well, socks and money, but also
exactly.
You know, just to underlie that point about, you know, like who the fuck are you to like judge what a homeless person does with money that they get, right? Like, if your first reaction to the thought of giving someone in desperate need money is that they just lack the moral character to know what to do with it, like, by all means, please fucking step in front of
Oh, no.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It might be a good bleep, but like, I never understood like why people get so fucking crazy and uppity about it. Like when I tell them like, yeah, I give money out to people that ask for it all the time on the streets and shit, and they're like, whoa, what, buddy? Like, it feels good.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's so fucking liberating when you're like, dude, you know what? This dollar is gonna go a lot farther for you than it is for me. Like, here you go. It makes a big difference in like looking someone in the eye and like saying hello and have a good day and shit like that.
Yeah, and there's people that's like, and like again, like that's important, but even more important than any of that is like just stopping, even if just for a few minutes, and talking to somebody, and you know what I'm saying, and like actually getting them to talk about themselves and giving them a human interaction with somebody who cares. Like I wish that I could remember these people's names or reach back out to them, but like this was years ago. But like I still remember there was two specific people in Santa Rosa. One was this security guard that worked at the Whole Foods, and he was fucking really cool. He'd let me play my guitar outside and panhandle and like give me no problems. We'd shoot the shit, and I'd see him like every day. And then there was also a librarian whose name I don't remember, who worked at the library nearby. And every time she'd see me, we'd talk. She'd take me out to lunch a couple times, you know, like once a week she'd take me out to lunch. And it's stuff like that. It's like, and I wish I could track these people down, because it stuck with me so much. I wish I could track them down and being like, well, hey, look, do you remember me? This is where I am today. Like, thank you for, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for treating me like a human being. That's the really important stuff.
That's pretty cool. I hope anybody that's listening, I know I'm thinking about this a lot, like how I want to improve the way that I interact with people that, you know, have been marginalized by our political economy, which you have, I know at least that I do, living in the city. You've got fucking countless opportunities to do every day. So if you have the time and you have the energy and the resources, I think that would be a really, really nice gift this holiday season going on. Love to be sincere.
You got that real heartwarming shit. You know, you started the episode being like, oh, this is just gonna bum you out, you're gonna get so depressed, but look where we are now. Hey, feeling pretty good.
Hey, look, maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just a lucky guy, but you know, I love the holiday season, and I think it's really kind of heartwarming to spend it, especially with good comrades like yourselves. So much appreciated, guys.
Maybe there is hope for the Christmas season after all.
Jared, you
there is hope.
Happy National Hat Day, everyone.
Guys, to close it out, I'd like to just start. Sam Knight, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you stepping up to come on in. Thank you.
No, it's always a pleasure. It's an honor to be on the show.
Can you tell us a little bit about District Sentinel and what you got going on there?
Yeah, we just we podcast. Just listen to the end of the WeWork episode. I sum it all up there. No, we do political journalism in DC on federal policy stuff, and we try to dig out stories that are not as covered that people on the left would be interested in, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at self-promotion, and it's my contribution to anti-capitalism.
Thank you.
It's a good show. Listen to the show.
Yeah,
we have a SoundCloud channel, iTunes, etc. There we go. Patreon.com/District Sentinel.
Patreon. Don't forget to plug the Patreon.
Jared, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Oh, pleasure, man. Always.
Tell us about yourself. What do you got going on? As a big fan of Shitpost myself.
Yeah. So I've got a podcast called Shitpost. It's used to say it's at the intersection of the internet and politics, but I feel like it all is at this point.
That's been obliterated at this point.
Yeah. I listen. It's good sometimes, I guess. It's on iTunes and everything. If you're looking for it, it's !T post, and I regret that every single time. Yeah, but that's how you spell it. And you can find me on Twitter at Amy Therese.
Oh God.
Oh, dude, now someone's gonna do it. You just red pilled someone.
Parody.
Guys, thank you very much. Obviously, we miss Shane a lot, and really can't wait to have him back.
Shane, come back, Shane.
Fuck, I miss him a lot. I know. I really miss him.
Wait, who have I been talking to the whole time?
Oh. I'm sorry. I know my face is obscured by my anonymous mask, my Michael Mukasey mask.
Yeah, it's just like a rhinoceros.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm actually wearing Joker makeup as well, so it's hard for him to tell who he's speaking with.
Chris, you don't have to wear a monkey mask and smoke a cigarette 24/7.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to make it into the final episode, but we started this episode, we looked at Chris and the Joker makeup, and we, pondered the question, why so serious?
You want to know how I got these bands?
I'm the Joker, baby.
If we're not banned by the time this comes out.
Yeah, I would plug my new Twitter handle, but there's like it's like a 99% chance it won't exist in a few days.
Look, if you go through my recent follows, I'm pretty sure it'll be easy to figure out.
That's right. And even if he gets nuked and we get a VPN or something like that in between now and then, that statement will still stand. So
yeah, all of my friends have to teach me how to use computers before I can, create an account that's actually going to stay with me.
By the way, my handle is @Knight69420, and that's the third Twitter account that I've had.
It's only the third amateur.
And to close it out, just to be inclusive, I want to wish from the bottom of my heart, happy holidays to everybody celebrating holidays this holiday season. Starting with International Human Solidarity Day, start of Winter Solstice, Super Saturday, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa,
Toyota-thon, happy Honda days.
Going into January, Human Trafficking Awareness Day, National Milk Day, Law Enforcement Appreciation Day.
What day is that, man? What day is that?
Yeah,
it's January 9th.
Oh, we got to do something.
We're going to have a special episode, man.
Yeah.
Join us January 9th when our guest will be Bo Dietl.
Don't forget Loyalty Day on May 1st, officer.
Yeah, so no matter where you are or how you celebrate, happy holidays from the bottom of my heart.
It's a December to remember, folks.
Happy Boxing Day!
Happy National Cop Day.
Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah. Stay cool, folks.
Stay cool, everybody.
You're going to be saying Merry Christmas again. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. Don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I don't need to hang my stocking there upon the fireplace. Santa Claus won't make me happy with a toy on Christmas Day. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. Much this Christmas, I won't even wish for snow. I'm just going to keep on waiting.